Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday, September 25th, 2020. It's a great day to be a junior Potter. Mr. Parrott here with your Friday rundown of what we did in class, just in case you weren't able to make it with us in person today. First off, make sure that you've done your bell ringer for all of the week. Today's Friday, so I'll be going in there, checking, making sure and confirming that each day, even if you missed one, that you went back and did them. I check them each day to see how you did on it, but I double back and make sure that you made them up in case you were absent. So if you've been absent at all, make sure you double back, make sure that you get them done. You're going to turn in your comparing cells assignment. That's what we've been doing Monday through Thursday this week. It should be wrapped up now on Friday, so hit that big white submit button to submit it and send it my way. Today what we're going to be taking a look at is the organization of life. From atoms to an organism, how are we made up? What things build on top of each other? How are things working together to build a functional organism like a human or a cow or a tree or a mushroom or whatever? What is those levels of organization? And then I'll show you the assignment that goes with it. And that assignment will be due on Monday if you don't end up finishing it here today. I'll move myself real quick so you can see that number 4 spot in the corner there. Organization of life assignment is the final thing that we'll take a look at today. So first off, when we go to Schoology here, you'll have your bell ringer for Friday up there. Answer them, 3 questions, I believe, like normal. We're then going to take a look at the handouts, the notes of the organization of life. If you can't print this out, you still need to pull it open, because there is a part that you need to read after the notes here. So here's what the notes look like. You can take your notes just on a normal piece of paper and just divide it out into these columns here. That's pretty straightforward as far as the dividing out goes there. But you do need this story in order to do today's assignment. So make sure that you are hitting up this story before you do anything with it there. I'm going to run through the different parts with you right now so that you're aware of what all the different parts are and how they work together. So starting now, I'm going to go through the notes for everything. So let me bring those back up because I have them off screen at the moment. There we go. There are the notes. Let me enlarge it so you can see it a little bit easier there. I do, yes, perfect. 200% all the way there. First off, we're going to start off with the atom. It is the smallest unit of matter that makes up literally everything that you can physically see. Atoms are going to be making it up. If you've heard of elements before, like that periodic table of elements, they're making up all of the elements. Examples of these would be things like your oxygens, your hydrogens, your carbons, nitrogens, all those things. Anything that appears on the periodic table would be something that would be considered an atom. And those are the things that work together to make up everything. It's the smallest unit of matter. They are non-living, though. So that's why we have not talked about them yet, because we've dealt with the living side of things. This would be the non-living side. The next part, when you get a bunch of atoms or a bunch of elements together, you get what is called a molecule. So the definition of a molecule is when you have 2 or more elements or 2 or more atoms that are bonded together, that are working together. So examples of these would be like water, H2O, 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen. Carbon dioxide would be another one. I'm going to go ahead and add that to the list here. So that it's carbon dioxide also on the list, and capitalize that O because that's an oxygen molecule there. Those are molecules. They're also non-living. We then get into our organelles, which are specialized parts in the cell that help them do a specific task or a specific function. So we've already covered these before. Now we're getting into familiar territory. Things like a nucleus, a mitochondria, a ribosome. Those are all things that are considered an organelle. Those are the tiny little parts that help make things up. The organelle by itself is still considered non-living because you need a bunch of organelles together in order to make a cell, and the cell is going to be the first unit of our living realm, which gets us into our next part here. We've got our cell. It is the most basic unit of living things. Yeah, a cell is the first thing that is considered to be living there. So we've been looking at plant cells, animal cells. You'd have fungi cells in there, protists themselves, even though they're animal-like, they're still in their own kind of separate thing. And also you get bacteria here as well. Those would be living things. From this point on, everything is part of the living realm. We next have tissues, which is when two or more cells are working together to help do a specific function. This would be like muscle tissue, skin tissue. Basically, when you get a bunch of cells together collectively. Leaf tissue, the leaves that we looked at in class the other day, the onions that we looked at, all those cells were together. Those are tissues that we were actually looking at. When you get a bunch of tissues then working together, our next part would be an organ. That would be things like our heart, stomach, brain. For a plant, that would be like the entire leaf itself. Not only the blade of the leaf, the flat part that you'll probably recognize as a leaf, but also that little stem that goes into the leaf. That whole entire structure would be considered some of their organs. You would then have the organ systems, where you got two or more organs working together. Some very popular organ systems. We only have only so many inside of our bodies there, but we got digestive system. That's how we process food. All the way from the mouth, esophagus, stomach, the intestines working in there, all those things working together to help do a specific function. Your circulatory system and respiratory system, those kind of work hand in hand with each other even. Making sure that your blood's flowing, so you got your blood vessels along with your heart. Respiratory system's got your lungs and your trachea and your windpipe and all those kind of things working together. So those are organ systems, two or more organs working together. And then finally, you get the coup de grace, the ultimate, the main event of everything, an actual organism itself, which is a living creature. That's a human, that's a tree, that's a cow, that's a mushroom. All those things would be considered living organisms at that point. They're multi-celled organisms in those cases. And that's where we get into the actual thing itself. So that's kind of a breakdown from atoms all the way up to organisms of how we can build upon each other there. What you're then going to end up doing, because you're not done yet, you need to read through this passage. It kind of highlights some of the things that we just talked about, and you're going to answer some questions up on Schoology dealing with this reading passage of how the organization of the human body kind of works. And it relates it to our analogies and got some other facts in there of some good stuff happening. So let me go back to Schoology real quick, and you'll be able to see the assignment. There's a thing that'll say assignment, organization of life. Hey, there's the bell. You've been missing that. So that means it's about 8 minutes until lunchtime here, because that's when I'm recording this on Thursday. For Friday. We don't want. We need to preview this. So when you load it up, it'll first go like this. You're going to have 3 attempts, so it works very similarly to the Pottervania assignment that we've already completed in class. You'll have these little blanks, and you have these questions detailing which level of organization we are describing. Your choices are at the bottom. From organelle to tissue to cell, the organ, molecule, organ system, atom. So one of each of the kind of things there, and all you have to do is just click, and then click on the tab. I believe we fixed the issue that we had last time where it cut off some of the words because we made the blank to put it on extremely large compared to the size of the words. So hopefully it does not cut off any of the words this time around. We tried it out. It seemed to work. Now the key with this one that there's multiple questions. So I'm going to move myself from the screen here so you can see in the bottom here, there's actually 5 questions. So that whole first one counts as 1 question. You have 5 total, so you click on next. Here you're going to put in order the organization of different things. So from cells to tissues to organs to the organ system to the organism itself, you're going to drag and drop the order. So you always start off with some cells, and then you can go into some tissues, system, however you have it working out there. You're going to end up putting it on there in the order that they need to go in. And that order is cells, tissues, organs, organ system, organism. There's a couple of those. So you'll have a couple of different ways to line things up there. When you are at all the way at the very end, there'll be the option to review, and then to submit, and then to finish, and then verify that you're okay with submitting things, and then it should pop back your grade relatively quick. It might take a little bit because it has to grade every single one of the blanks, and depending on how overloaded the servers are, it might take a minute or two. But you should be able to check, see what you got. If you had things wrong, you can always retake it to allow you to get back some of those points that you may be losing there. But that is the end of what we're doing here on Friday. If you have any questions whatsoever, do not hesitate to ask. Otherwise, I hope you're back with us soon, and I'm going to sign off by leaving this on there. Whatever you don't have finished, you need to do for Monday. But hopefully you'll be able to join us again next week. We will see you later.